Son, you know why you the greatest alive?
Why, Dad?
Because you came out of my balls, nigga.
Fuck rap, bustin' like an addict with a semi-automatic. Who done had it and he ready for anybody to buck back? Hold on, catch a vibe, ain't no way in hell we leaving nobody alive. Even suicide, no fuck that. Bobby feeling.
Son, you know why you the greatest alive?
Why, Dad?
Because you came out of my balls, nigga.
Fuck rap, bustin' like an addict with a semi-automatic. Who done had it and he ready for anybody to buck back? Hold on, catch a vibe, ain't no way in hell we leaving nobody alive. Even suicide, no fuck that. Bobby feeling villainous, he killing us. I'm coming for your man and his lady, getting even a baby. I'm feeling like I'm Slim Shady with rabies. I'm foaming at the mouth, ain't nobody taking me out. Every single rapper in the industry, yeah, they know what I'm about. And I dare you to test me, cause not a single one of you motherfuckers impress me. And maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but I'm full of innovation. And I'm tired of all of this high school. He's cool, he's not rap shit. Can a single one of you motherfuckers even rap shit? No, this ain't a diss to the game, this is gas to the flame. Nowadays, everybody saying the same shit's lame. Like a moth to the flame, I'm a real man and killing it. You feeling the system when I'm spilling it, I'm feeling myself. Yeah, Bobby Bud, he been feeling himself. Man's better like this, can't be good for my health. When I rap like this, do I sound like shit? Well, it don't really matter cause I'm killing this shit. Yeah, I'm killing this shit. Oh yeah, I'm killing this shit. Bobby, how many times you been killing this shit? Find another round, goddamn, nigga shit. Fuck rap, bustin' like an addict with a semi-automatic. Who done had it and he ready for anybody to buck back? Hold on, catch a vibe, ain't no way in hell we leaving nobody alive. Even suicide, no fuck that. Bobby feeling villainous, he killing us. I'm coming for your man and his lady, getting even a baby. I'm feeling like I'm Slim There's nowhere to hide. We call this shit genocide. Hit them with that then they die. We gon' leave them crucified. We call this shit genocide. I got bitches, I got hoes, I got rare designer clothes. No, we ain't fucking with that. Yeah, there's a time and a place, but if you ain't coming with the illest of raps, calling yourself the greatest alive, then you don't deserve to do that. No, no, oh no, no, please do not do that. You gon' get smacked. You gon' make Bobby attack. You gon' make Bobby boy snap. You gon' make Bobby boy snap. Bobby boy fuck rap. Bustin' like an addict with a semi-automatic. Who done had it and he ready for anybody to buck back. Go to catch a vibe, ain't no way in hell we leaving nobody alive. Even suicide, no fuck that. Bobby feeling villainous, he killing us. I'm coming for your man and his lady, and even a baby. I'm feeling like I'm Slim Shady.
Like Jay-Z, jiggers up, you fuckers who didn't write anything. You're getting washed like bathing. Young Hova, I know hitters like Yankees. Gun toters, the pull triggers like crazy. Unloaded, leave you shot up in your rover, your body goes limping.
Son, you know why you the greatest alive?
Why, Dad?
Because you came out of my balls, nigga.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Dio's Bizarre Holiday Singles. We are done with the warm-ups and ready to get into the final match of the weekend and the final match of the Tier 2 Finals between Wanderio and Origin. This match is the 4th place decider. Loser goes out in 4th place and does not see the podium, does not see the Grand Finals weekend. The winner secures themselves a spot in the top 3 and moves on into the Losers Grand Finals to face off against Ryua. I'm Dio, and I am going to be casting this match alongside Suikun. How's it going, man?
Hey, man. Quick little lunch break, but we're back in action and ready for the final match of this weekend. And I'm hoping for this to be, a good one. We got some very good players in Wanderio and Origin here. I believe.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but they just banned out the entire DT pool.
Hell yeah, that's my type of jam. Who needs DT anyways? Bad mod. Let's
go.
Kind
of match, man. No DT. Oh my god.
No DT. Hell yeah. My goats here. Oh, you love to see it when that happens. Anyways, so Origin had at least in terms of scoreline, a fairly decent match versus Ramia. So looking somewhat solid there. Wanderio looking back at so Wanderio was up 5-2 and then hidden on Osu had to FF for handheld. Yeah. The end result of that match probably wouldn't have changed much given how it was progressing, but keep your hands. Make sure you're getting your proper warm-ups and stretches when gaming. Quick PSA here.
Yeah, and I said this during Hidden on Osu's match as well, but your hand health is always going to be more important than any tournament, so please take it seriously, especially for the tournaments that you deem more important, like, for example, if you're an OS World Cup player, take care of your hand health, make sure you're good to go, and that way you don't have to FF a match during a tournament like that, right? So make sure you take care of yourself, make sure your hands and wrists stay in good health, because that will carry with you through the rest of your life. It's not worth it for a game. Here, though, no hand-hurting picks in this pool are left, with all the DTs banned out, and presumably a gentleman's agreement to not pick No Mod 5 or Hard Rock 3, which are the only two remaining speed picks left in the pool. This one, however, is actually a very difficult pick, despite being pretty low star rating within the pool, only 7.64 stars. It's the logical endpoint of alt tech, which means it's an alt map with hidden, but instead of having circles for alt patterns, you have sliders for all of the alt patterns. So nearly every difficult alt pattern in this map is an alt slider stream, with tons of buzz sliders and high velocity reverse sliders and other finger control and aim control patterning with those sliders, which is very hard, very, very difficult.
The bomb has been dropped, and Wanderio has the better accuracy and just a slightly better peak combo than Origin early on into this, quite frankly, absurd map. Thank you, 871. Thank you, Wowie.
Yep, this is, as Suicune said, one of the Wowie bombs. This is just a ridiculous tech map, is what Wowie has dropped into the pool here.
So what is Wanderio doing?
A breaking combo on the hard
yeah.
Was holding during the easier section, but this part halfway through is just unhittable. I don't think a single player has hit this in the map's existence, let alone in the tournament. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy, alt tech. This is actually like an insane score from Wanderio. I think we've only seen like one other or like two others, like 100k scores on this.
Yeah,
I think both by Welter and Secret Box.
I would have to run the stats, but yeah, most of the scores on this are around 50k. So Origin's score is the average score this weekend, basically. Like that's a typical score on this map. That's about the median score on this map, right? Wanderio's is pretty insane in that context to be double the median score. That is a very strong performance for Wanderio on this map. And I think should feel pretty comfortable picking into some of the other Wowie bombs in the pool, namely the Nomad 4 and the Hard Rock 4. Some of the other tech-focused picks.
Okay, 146k is actually like obscene. Let me go back to the Welter Secret Box match. Where was this picked here? Yeah, so that Wanderio score actually beats out Secret Box.
Wow. Okay. That's probably top score of the weekend on that map then. Yeah.
Well, I mean, aside from Welter, because Welter got the obscene like 300 combo in the middle. So, because Welter had the 190, and then I believe it's Wanderio, and then it's Box.
Okay.
The gentleman agreement does not exist, unfortunately. Dio.
No. No, I was gonna say the gentleman's agreement has been broken instantly.
So Wanderio, that was an early breakpoint as well, wasn't it?
It was in. Oh no, actually, that is the picks are reversed here. I don't know. I don't know why the picks were reversed, but it should look like this. It should look like this. My bad. Did accidentally reverse the picks there, so not a breakpoint. That is just a good pick for Wanderio there. A very good first pick, and Origin looking to fire back with a first pick of his own. We'll see whether or not it remains a good first pick for Origin.
Well, just going by the pre-map banter, Wanderio not entirely pleased that, Origin picked this, so... needless to say, just going off pre-map banter, Origin might be a bit more comfortable, and, big chain miss there, from Wanderio. Traded back by Origin, so, long map, early days, but I think Origin's just looking a lot more comfortable on this than Wanderio, and perhaps Origin banning out DTs for other reasons compared to Wanderio is my takeaway from this.
Especially with the DT bans from Origin being DT 3 and 4, I think you're probably correct. Banned out the secret fourth bomb in Gaucho DT. And also banned out Arasando. Unfortunately, we don't get that banger, but banning out both of the AR 10.6 gimmick DT picks, I think maybe is more indicative of exactly what Origin wanted to get rid of, which is that high AR reading and gimmick in the pool, whereas this is just straight up speed, and both of the DT bans for Wanderio were on the speedier DT picks, of course.
Yeah, and it's showing. Origin does find a drop there, but, still has the 10%, over 10% act lead over Wanderio, who is just kind of struggling to hit notes. Actually was managing to combo some of them, but, and then you just get hit with giant spacing that you just note lock on and die, so. Needless to say, Origin has double Wanderio's score right now, about a third of the way into this map, and it's looking a bit doomed for Wanderio here. Unless he's somehow able to go absolutely insane and just hit patterns and Origin, completely flubs it. I dare say this might already, you know, be the point for Origin.
It's just a huge difference in comfort, right? 8% accuracy is a pretty wide divide between these two players, and Origin is on the far better side of that gap between them. So definitely just looks way more comfortable on this map, and that is the main factor that's going to determine a lot of picks in a pool that is this hard, is overall comfort with the style of map, unless there is a huge difference in skill cap between the two players, which in Tier 2 generally there hasn't seemed to be that huge difference in skill cap between a lot of the players in the finals weekend, and a lot of it has come down more to just general comfort on a lot of the picks in the pool, which for Origin right now on these speedier picks is honestly less convincing than for Wanderio on the tech map, but not all tech players are better at ult than their opponents, and not all speed players are worse at other things like aim control or just straight up aim than their opponents. And especially with picks like the Hidden One in this pool, there are still other maps where being better on tapping and flowing can really advantage you in this pool.
For sure, for sure. But I am kind of interested to see, you know, the dynamic as this goes on, because aside from, you know, Nomad 5, which, you know, I'm assuming Origin, just based on, you know, how this map has been going, might pick into, sure, it's not like overly convincing, but at the end of the day, you're just trying to beat your opponent, and you know, if you're gonna do whatever you do to get the victory, and you know, just based on this alone, you know, Nomad 5 is an option. Nomad 2, like not Nomad 2, Hidden 1, like you said, Dio. 222 BPM, you know, flame patterns on that map could affect Wanderio. But aside from that, I'm not really thinking of anything else that, you know, would heavily favor Origin in favor of tapping. At least that's remaining in the pool. I guess, like, maybe Hard Rock 2, but that's such a stretch.
Very much a stretch. So, well, you know, both players, right? You've only had a tech map and a speed map so far, right? And as we've seen a couple of times through the tournament, as I've experienced personally as somebody who can play alt but not tech super well, being good at tech doesn't necessarily make you better at alt, and vice versa. Being good at speed doesn't necessarily mean you're disadvantaged on other things as well. So we'll just have to see how it shakes out as the pool closes in further and further. In the meantime, we're going to see another tech pick here for Wanderio, and probably another speed pick afterwards for Origin in the Nomad 5. Until we get there, though, we're into the second of 3 Wowie bombs in the pool. Natsuno Owari, the Soleli remix by Denkishiki Karen. This is a 5-minute tech DMB map. It's like if DMB mappers were all from Avalon. Does that make sense? Does that check out? I feel like that checks out. It's an Avalon take on a DMB song.
Absolutely checks out. Some of these patterns are you just look at it and it's like something like the player brain does not comprehend. The normal mapper brain also does not comprehend. You have to go into like the depths of like the most insane mappers. Like, we're not talking like just generic like ranked stuff. We're talking like people who experiment a lot. And then also, you know, the insane gimmick players like, you know, our good friend Wowie, who just happens to have, you know, treasure troves of insanity downloaded. So I'm very interested to see how this goes for both of these players. There are some, you know, relatively tamer parts in this map that should be opportunities for, you know, players to build up their combo. And then, you know, we get into the absolute insane. this is not the absolute insane. This is still relatively tame compared to, you know, the rest of the map. Unfortunately for Wanderio, finding chain misses at the start here, while Origin is still holding on to the FC, is not a good start for a map like this.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. It's, however, Origin does find the break here, and so it's going to be a little bit better for Wanderio. But the question is really how long can you hold on to this combo lead, because the map really starts to take off very soon. And at that point, the combo becomes a lot more difficult to hold on to. You get a little bit of a break during this section. But once the first TI time truly starts in earnest, it's going to be a lot more difficult to maintain that combo lead. And more importantly, it's 2% accolade for Origin, which, as we've seen throughout this weekend, is oh so important when the star rating gets higher and higher and the combos get smaller and smaller, generally speaking. And that break for Wanderio doesn't bode super well going into this section. It is misses for both players at the start of this very difficult first TI time. But it's a 20k score lead now for Origin, up from a 10k score lead right beforehand. And suddenly this is looking much better for Origin on the hard rock tech in particular. And this is why you don't count out any player before the maps actually start playing, because even with Origin losing that hidden four by a huge margin, you know, Wanderio getting the second best score of the weekend so far on that map, it just doesn't end up mattering here on the hard rock 4, where Origin just looks more comfortable and has the ACK advantage halfway through. We're not quite finished with the map either, so don't count your chickens till they hatch. Don't say GG until the map is over. Wanderio does still have the time to bring this back to his side.
Yeah, for sure, but, you know, just seeing, you know, how that TI went for both of these players, you know, it's already looking a bit slim. Origin does find a slider break, so Wanderio is going to really need to pull out some, you know, stops to, you know, bring the score lead back, and does find a drop, unfortunately, and there's just ACK drops all over the place. That accuracy advantage, actually for Origin, I think has grown to about 3%. It was 4% earlier, roughly. It's actually decreasing a fair bit now. Origin actually finds many slider breaks in hundreds, so that score lead for Origin has shrunk to 6,000, and Wanderio starting to claw it back with multiple ACK drops from both of these players. Now, and the score lead's actually started to flip back in favor of Wanderio. Origin's accuracy advantage actually just fully evaporated off of that section, and Wanderio, like you mentioned, Dio, don't count anyone out until it's over. Wanderio managing somehow to bring that score lead back onto his side. Well, you know, absolutely insane. We still have a few more TI sections. I can't remember if this is the final insane tech part of this map, but if Wanderio is able to, you know, keep the accuracy somewhat close and maintain, you know, a combo, you know, this score lead's going to stay with him, but Wanderio drops the combo, finds a chain miss there. Origin trades that chain miss back, though, however, and the score lead is immediately back in favor of Wanderio by 5,000. It's very close coming down to this ending here.
And we'll see if Wanderio is able to hold on. Does find another couple of slider breaks. A couple of 50s there dropped, and the accuracy advantage back in the way of Origin. And now we get into a really slow ending. I think that might actually be GG. Those slider breaks and the little bit of ACK drop there near the end for Wanderio could spell doom at the end of the map here, as Origin combos through that section, holds the accuracy lead, and now holds combo lead into the easy ending section of this map. But he finds the break. He actually finds a miss with the nerves. You can see the shake there in his cursor with the cursor trail. Look at the shake on Origin. He is just not having it right now. Is it enough of a score lead for him to stay in the lead here? It's going down to 4K.
He needs to drop more accuracy. He needs to drop more accuracy.
Does he drop enough ACK? I don't think he's going to drop the ACK here at the end. No, it's not enough for Wanderio. Origin finds the miss at the very end of the map, but the slider breaks prior for Wanderio are not helpful at all, and Origin ends up taking it because of the slider breaks versus the miss. And the timing of those breaks just being better for Origin than for Wanderio. What an ending. So sad for Wanderio, but so clutch for Origin to be able to hold on during that ending and secure an early break point here in this match.
Oh, that is such a huge break point as well. You know, on a pool like this, especially when, you know, anything can go either way, being able to take breakpoints against your opponent's pick, you know, is huge, because you can either then, you know, chain it off and just get that momentum going, start winning pick after pick after pick. But it also very slightly gives you a little bit more buffer room, because it's like, oh, I won off his pick. I'm not nearly as pressed anymore to, you know, like, how do I put it this? You're not nearly as pressed to, I guess, go solely on comfort. You have just that little bit extra room to experiment with your pick strategy, and experiment Origin shall do, going with Nomad 1.
It lets you, we'll put it this way, it lets you save your strongest pick for later rather than needing to use it immediately to keep up, right? Origin, after the Hard Rock 3, I think the expected pick is the Nomad 5, but now gets to potentially save that pick for later and not maybe give over a breakpoint on that pick. Instead, can go for something else. Who knows if that Nomad 5 is actually good for him, right? It's such a different map from the Hard Rock 3 that it is hard to tell whether or not it would truly be a good pick or not for Origin at this point in the match. So I think very helpful having that early breakpoint and being able to go with some of the other maps, try out a different skill set, and see if aim is the name of the game here for Origin.
Oh boy. Just under 2 minutes of 9.2 start, 278 BPM jump aim. Yeah, this map is insane. We do see a few series of early breaks from Origin, traded back by Wanderio, and yeah.
Well, it's 9.2 stars. You know, I mean, you're gonna find some breaks here. But right now, Origin holding the better accuracy, I think, is really helpful on this map. It is so easy to fall behind just a little bit and start chaining hundreds together all over the place. So having that accuracy advantage is very, very good for Origin. Does drop down quite a bit, another 2% or so to 96, but it's 94, 95 now for Wanderio, so 2% AC lead still intact there, and you can see just how easy it is to find those chain misses and chain hundreds if you fall behind just a little bit. Even on OD 9.8, it's so easy to note lock a map like this.
Yeah, and you can see both players are just kind of missing, because even, you know, like in the counterparts, it's still basically cross-screen jumps. You don't get a break in this map, and Origin is just navigating this better at the moment. The accuracy still in favor of Origin, as Wanderio finds a huge series of 100s. Had a little bit of a combo, but those chain misses there on those ending jumps, I think, might be enough to seal it in favor of Origin here. We'll have to see how this ending goes, and yeah, nobody hit that.
Well, Origin bumping up his previous score from 205k to 219k. Didn't need to, fortunately for him, as Wanderio not quite able to reach that 200k mark on this map. But Wanderio still having a pretty good run there, honestly. Number 5 out of 10 on the map, ahead of players like Serbia Trucker, Lion, Ryua, Ramia, and Pikapone. So still having a pretty good run on the map overall, just not enough to beat Origin up there at 219k. And now, Suicune, we get one of the maps of all time in this pool.
Oh, we get one of the maps. Yeah, this is like 15 stars, bro.
This map's really hard, turns out. So the average scores in this pool, on Nomad 1, it's 200k. On Nomad 2, it's 240k. On Nomad 3, it's 200k. Nomad 4, it's 270k. Hidden 2, the average score is 66k so far. Now, you might say, well, Dio, doesn't No Mod 5 exist? Isn't that map, like, also impossible? And yes, it does exist, and it's pretty hard. But the average score is 87k on that map. Now, granted, it's carried a little bit by Welter getting 200,000 points, but even then, the typical score on that map is still around 60k. So both of these maps are just pretty much impossible. And we've seen that throughout the weekend with a lot of players really struggling on those two maps in this pool in particular. Which makes a lot of sense, right? 280 BPM burst stamina and AR 7.5 alt reading, generally speaking, are pretty difficult skill sets to be super consistent on. And those two are the lowest average score picks in the pool so far this weekend.
Yeah, this map is just brutal. You have alt, you have tapping control, you have aim control with, these wiggles. You have, a few, like, flow aim streams that start on blue ticks, so, very unintuitive to hit for most players. Yeah, and then there's also just really weird, like, rhythm choices in this that actually just make you, like, question, your sanity when it comes to, tapping some of these patterns. So, we'll see how, this fares for both players. Wanderio going to have the better start early on here. And actually, getting through this first quarter of the map, actually decently well off.
Yeah, I mean, up 25k doesn't sound like much, but Origin's score right now is 30k. So that 20k, 25k score advantage is actually very significant here for Wanderio right now, as it's nearly double score, a 6.5% accuracy lead for Wanderio as well, now down to a little less than 6% actually, with a couple of act drops coming through for Wanderio, and a break there as well, but not going to impact too much, I don't think, as the combo lead for Origin is pretty small at this point in the map. Halfway through now, and we're into the repeating triangle section. These are actually triangle triples that are stop and go patterns with single taps underneath them. So can be very, very tricky for a lot of players to read, and both players trip up on that section, but it goes just a little bit better for Wanderio than for Origin, and the score lead grows and then shrinks once again, pretty steady right around that 26, 27k mark.
Yeah, the overall comfort that Wanderio has on this, just higher. Just getting through that section better, and, this map really doesn't get any easier. We have, a little bit of a repeat from, the first third with some of these patterns, and then you just get into diabolical streams near the end that are literally impossible to hit on hidden. Basically why this map is, you already see, it's already difficult enough, and it just gets more insane with these ending streams. I actually don't know, like, how Wanderio hit, like, any... Yeah, you can see why. They're just not hittable. But Wanderio is going to win this pick and keep that score close, bringing it to 2-3 now, but still needs to win a break point on one of Origin's picks to have a chance of tying it up 3-3.
We'll see if that breakpoint comes now or later. This next pick for Origin could potentially take him up to 4-2 and at a pretty significant lead, over halfway to a win, or could tie it up for Wanderio. So do you want to go into more aim, or do you want to go into speed again? Do you want to go into something else, potentially some alt? Unclear exactly what the best move is here for Origin, but there are a few lines that you can pursue. And it's going to be aim and streams in the same map here. Dynamite by Usao, Amelia's Macho TNT remix, mapped by Czar. This map is one of the tamest Czar maps you might find in the wild, which is an understatement of all time because it's still 8.2 stars and 222 BPM mechanics-focused tech. Lots of aim with lots of slider jumps in particular in this map, as well as lots of 222 BPM flow streams with hidden in this map, which are really, really tough to be consistent on. and to have both the flow aim and speed stamina for in this map. As well as, Wanderio mentions the circle stream. Yeah, about 2/3 of the way through this map, there's a repeating super spaced circle stream right in the top middle of the screen. So that pattern as well is extremely difficult to hit consistently and has caused many a chain miss throughout the weekend.
For sure. But this pick does kind of make sense for Origin, one of the, I think this is like the last, remaining like decently fast map in the pool when it comes to just, raw tapping. So maybe trying to get Wanderio there does find an early drop on, this intro aim section. So we'll have to see. This map, it has, a fair few, stream patterns in it, but it's not the majority of it. You still have to be consistent enough on a lot of these like aim like mech tech patterns. You can't solely rely on your opponent full chain missing every single stream. That's not a good path to victory on this map. Wanderio does find a little bit of a chain miss on that stream before that kick slider jump section. Origin does slider right there, so combo is pretty much dead even. Slight accuracy advantage in favor of Origin right now.
Oh, and is that a disconnect? That might be a disconnect.
Oh.
For Wanderio. Oh, nope. Okay, it's just the client being client, I guess.
I think client was being client.
Not sure exactly what happened there, but Wanderio is still here, so we continue on. As well, a quarter of the map has already passed, so it's not like we're allowing an abort over a quarter of the way in anyway. So, glad to see that he is, in fact, still here. Oh, but that's another chain miss for Wanderio, and Origin once again out ahead because of the chain misses on those streams, and managed to actually hold combo through that stream section as well, now into this really tech-focused part of the song, as still managing to hold on to the combo, still managing a 2% accuracy lead as well here for Origin, which is really solid on this kind of a map. 35k the score lead for Origin after the slider is over.
Yeah, looking solid for Origin right now. Wanderio finding a few more drops before then, but the longer this map goes on, the more opportunities for breaks, and I'm already starting to get slightly scared just looking at Origin's cursor. I'm not gonna lie, Dio. We've seen, the back half of this map just demolish players' hopes for winning on this.
Well, that slider break maybe can reduce the shakes a little bit here for Origin going into the back half. And you can see the shakes on these streams for Origin are not very good. There's the chain miss to come out. We're into the circle stream in just a second here. Wanderio is going to chain miss. Oh, no. Oh, poor bastard. He chain misses the circle stream once again and is unfortunately not going to be able to capitalize on the shakes and nerves there for Origin. Got a little bit too nervous holding some combo on this map.
Yeah, I think just immediately over-aimed the circle stream, so just completely missed every single note. The moment he missed, chain missed that, he just gave up. He's like, yeah, I'm not getting back on this stream. I'm going to wait until after this is over. But that just means Origin gets a pretty sizable score lead now. 55,000. Dropped a little bit with that act drop, but still has the accuracy advantage. Wanderio finding another drop, and, Origin, despite, my concerns about the shake, is holding on to this back half of the map fairly well. Does drop the combo at the end there, but I think with such a small sliver of map remaining and such a sizable score lead, I don't see a world where Wanderio is able to pull this back. And those breaks will pretty much just seal the deal. Origin does drop a few more times at the end, but with those breaks traded out by Wanderio, it's going to be a 60,000 point victory for Origin on this hidden one pick, and it's going to bring him up to 4-2 now.
And that is over halfway to a victory for Origin here. Should be happy that he has been able to get up to that halfway point and still has the breakpoint advantage to his name as well. So not going to need a ton of help going forward into the rest of the match here, as we get the next Woey bomb in the pool. Going to be Nomad 4, another tech pick here for Origin, or for Wanderio, excuse me. Step is 5-minute long tiebreaker from a Russian tournament called Hedge Hop Madness Beach episode. And this is mapped by Arushi09, also known as Aracy, along with Blackie Design. And it's only 7.7 stars, but definitely earned place in this pool. Average score on this map is only 277,000 points, and a lot of that is carried by Welter's 460k scoreline from earlier today. The other 3 scores average closer to about 220k on this map.
Yeah, this is the, I think, the final Woey bomb being picked here. Oops, all tech. Yeah, this is honestly a pretty, like, good map though. Like, it's just looks like it has a lot of, like, really fun patterns. We'll have to see. So Wanderio has, picked all 3 bombs, won the Hidden 4, and then just barely lost that Hard Rock 4. So, still, I'd say both players, I think, have a fairly equal chance of, taking this point. It really just comes down to the consistency on this one, because this one, we thought Nomad or Hard Rock 4 was, fairly long. Yeah, this is, like Dio mentioned, this was a custom tiebreaker. So, this is over 5 minutes in length. Consistency is going to matter a lot on this map. And so far, early on, both players holding their combos, slight accuracy favored, or slight accuracy advantage for Wanderio as Origin finds a slider break on that slider screen there. So Wanderio now has in the driver's seat. See how long he is able to hold this combo and extend that score lead.
And contrary to the Hard Rock 4, it seems on the Nomad and Hidden alt tech picks, Wanderio looking pretty solid. And even through the finger control in this map, right? There's a lot of 1/6 and 1/8 finger control in this map as well, which it seems like he's doing just fine in this map with. Does find the slider break here, but still up 35k and up about 1% in accuracy. So Wanderio looking solid so far on this map, though we are only a third of the way in, so still quite a lot of time. Anything can still happen, especially with the combos mostly reset for both players.
Yeah, for sure, but Origin's just seeming to be a lot less comfortable overall. Despite, a few resets from both players, overall Origin has just been breaking a lot more. That last break, I believe, was Bancho, but we did see some actual, slider breaks that Wanderio did not trade out, so it's just more opportunities for Wanderio to build up that, this score lead. Has the 300 combo advantage, has the 2% AC lead, and, that score lead is only growing to 70k now as Origin does find yet another slider break.
And there's another couple of slider breaks for Origin. Wanderio will finally drop that big combo he was holding right before the slow section as well. Could have potentially held upwards of 800-900 combo here for Wanderio if he had managed to hold. But already up to a 78,000 score lead halfway through. And this map doesn't really get any easier. It doesn't get much harder either. It's already been very difficult throughout the pick. But it's not like any of this is going to be easier for Origin to deal with going into the second half of the map now. And with Wanderio having such a huge buffer in terms of the score lead, becomes quite difficult for Origin to stage a comeback now. Still possible, but very difficult with an 80,000 score lead 2/3 of the way through for Wanderio.
And now that both players have re-established combos, the score lead, 83,000, I dare not say, it's out of the question, but I think with that reset, it might now actually be out of the question for Origin to potentially take this back. As both players trading breaks on this final quarter of the map, and with the accuracy advantage still pretty heavily in favor of Wanderio, and just Wanderio overall throughout the map just being a bit more consistent holding combo. I think, the Hard Rock 4 aside, a little bit of a fluke, did almost manage to bring it back, but, I think when it comes to, not Hard Rock tech, Wanderio looking fairly solid, and is going to be able to secure this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's all the tech maps gone now from the pool, right? DT3 is banned out. All Nomad 4, Hard Rock 4, Hidden 4 have all been picked. And so Wanderio, no more tech to fall back on in the pool. Has to find points through other means. Now, of course, has already gotten another point as well, but we'll need to find something else to fall back on for the pick strategy in the back half of this match. And Origin, already ahead of breakpoint, just needs to maintain that single breakpoint and can eliminate Wanderio and move on to grand finals. Still quite a ways to go, right? Still only 4-3. So both players with a way to victory here, but definitely an easier path to victory for Origin, even after taking the loss on this Nomad 4 pick. Great score from Wanderio. That is right around the average score line for this map. But again, if you don't count Welter's 470k on this or 460k on this, the average score is more like 220k. So that is still a very good score there for Wanderio on that map, and I think should be pretty happy with that. Definitely is happy with that. And average score should not be 270k. Yeah, no, it's technically not if you exclude Welter's score. If you're looking at the median score, I think the median is a little bit more representative than average, generally speaking. It's why I use what I use for match costs. And the median score on this map is like 250k, which, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, that one adds up a bit more, but Origin, won on the Nomad 1, so he's gonna be like, let's pick more aim. It might be disrespectful aim slop, but it's still aim. So I'm gonna pick it and hope I can win.
Yeah, we'll see how well this goes for Origin here. It is very awkward aim. Extremely focused on anti-aim patterns with huge cross-screen jumps immediately into very tiny 3-star jumps right next to them. And, you might say, well, yeah, if you can hit the cross screens, you can hit the 3-star jumps, right? Well, yeah, in a vacuum, but, like, if they're right next to each other, the aim control to go from extremely fast cursor to extremely slow cursor and still control your aim between those objects at the same time is very, very tough. It's almost like stopping and then continuing in the same direction, which can be very, very tricky for a lot of players in any instance. And that's the main focus of this map. So 8.76 stars for this. Yes, it's accessible. Yes, it's lower star rating than the Nomad 1, but still quite difficult for this map.
For sure. And I'm interested to see, because awkward aim hard rock is already kind of an unpopular, skill set. Not many people have, awkward aim hard rock practice, just because, one, it gives, like, 0 PP in solo, and 2, you don't really see hard rock aim or hard rock awkward aim that often. in tournaments either. Like, at best, you might find it in, like, a free mod slot where, you can take Hard Rock, but, most people don't play this kind of stuff, willingly, and as a result, aren't nearly as practiced on something like this. That being said...
Yeah, I was gonna say, just to build on that, I think that's one of the big advantages of quote-unquote non-slot pooling, as we've started to call it recently, because you are enabled to pick stuff like this even when it wouldn't necessarily be in a normal slot pool, as both players just find breaks and trade back and forth, keep the score pretty even. We'll talk about that for just a little longer before something really exciting happens and we get a big combo for either of these players. They just continue trading right back and forth. Yeah, it's a big advantage to not following the blueprint, so to speak, and just kind of balancing skill sets as much as possible while picking more interesting maps and building around them for the rest of the pool, because not only can you find really different things in the pool by doing so, but you can also fit in stuff like this that's not super conventional for map pooling. Now granted, this is not a conventional tournament, so it doesn't really apply to this map in particular, in this pool in particular, but it's a fun thing that I've noticed more often. Lots more awkward aim hard rock picks in map pools in recent years. As both these players continue to trade back and forth, and Origin is just ever so slightly advantaged throughout the first half of this map.
Yeah, ever so slightly, but, the score lead really hasn't gone above, like, 20, 30k at all. So, it could still flip on a knife's edge. We still have, at least one more, accelerating stream that, any of these players can find, a massive chain miss on. So, nothing is ever set in stone, especially when the maps are this hard. But that series of breaks from Wanderio hurts quite a bit, because this is, for all things considered, like, given how the rest of the map is, a bit more of a freer combo section. Nothing is truly ever, free combo when, the maps are this hard, but, there are still parts which are tamer and, easier to hit, and Origin, holding through that section better than Wanderio, has the 1.5% accuracy lead, has now grown that score lead to about 27k, and there's that stream I was talking about. Both players do find a chain miss near the end of it, so ultimately not going to change how, the score goes, but yeah, both of these players are just struggling at the end here. And these trade misses, they're actually kind of starting to favor Wanderio a bit. I think Origin's actually dropped a lot more combo through the end here.
And more so than the combo, the accuracy is within 0.5% now, but it's just not going to be enough, I don't think. There's just barely any time left in the map, just a couple of objects left, and unfortunately for Wanderio, it's not going to be the break point here on Hard Rock 1, and fortunately for Origin, does manage to close it out here with this Hard Rock 1 pick, and still get the point, just barely by 11k, but does manage to get the point after all. Up now to 5-3, still in possession of the breakpoint advantage, still up 2 points after both players have picked and won their own maps. And now we get a pretty much instant hidden 3 for Wanderio Mafon, which is, well, Speaker, I guess you can talk about this. You did the replay for Showcase.
Oh, yeah, this is such a fun map. Yeah, 170, or yeah, basically 170 BPM aim control. Devious aim control. You have start-stop patterns, you have flow aim, you have, I guess like cross patterns, I could say, square patterns as well. Basically, have fun flailing your cursor around the screen, because it's also 8.4 stars. You will be hitting, there are cross screen patterns in this that really make you just, move your pen, move your mouse at very high speed.
Yeah, it's It's a really, really tricky map with all of the back and forth wiggles, with all of the kind of weird cut stream patterns in this map, and with all of the stop and go alt patterning especially. I find that's a lot of what people break on in this map. Not necessarily the back and forth wiggles, which are sometimes easier than the stop and go alt streams in this map.
I will say, there are two pretty tame sections where, the players can, build up, solid 300 combos. None of which is happening in this first part. Because nothing in this map is truly, like, free. As we've already seen, you can just kind of miss literally anywhere in, these tamer sections, as Origin finds yet another drop.
Alright, let's see how the rest of this Hidden 3 goes. So far, it's been favored to Wanderio, and Hidden as a mod generally has looked good for Wanderio outside of that Hidden 1. So, you generally favor Wanderio. Out of the 3 Hiddens we've seen so far, Hidden 2 and 4 have both gone his way. So, generally looked better overall. Doesn't necessarily mean this is going to be his win as well, but so far it's looking like it. The ACK advantage for Wanderio is there, and I think more than the ACK advantage, the combo is giving over a lot of this early score lead. 28k, Wanderio holding that early combo advantage, really paying off so far in this map.
Yo, so why was Wanderio holding like a 200 combo during that section, by the way?
Well, it didn't end up mattering much, as the score lead's only 13k, so not going to end up affecting too much in the map, unfortunately for Wanderio. I think it's just the combo at the start that he was able to hold that's a little bit better for him here. Another couple of breaks come through for Origin, so the score lead builds up a little bit more for Wanderio and drops right back down with that slider break into the last quarter of the map now.
Yeah, looks like overtapped the 1/3, and full chain misses that one, so Origin with the combo. Oh, it's gonna come down to the end. Remember, Dio, when Listia said in the showcase that, the ending pattern might not matter? The ending pattern might actually matter, depending on how this goes. Okay, why did Origin hit that?
Let's see how these ending streams go. It's only 4k between them. Origin chain misses on the cuts. Oh no! And the ending, actually, the chain misses don't end up mattering because it's the cut streams right before that end up giving it back over to Wanderio. And that is real rough for Origin. Could have potentially taken another breakpoint there, but Wanderio clutches it out at the very end, holds on the cut streams when Origin was not able to, and that is actually the defining factor there for Wanderio, just barely able to hold on to victory on that map, as now, speaking, the pool's looking a little thinned out. We got 1 Hard Rock left and 5 Nomads to pick from here for Origin. Where is he going? Is he going into the last Hard Rock, or are we finally breaking glass in case of emergency with Nomad 5?
I don't think we necessarily need to break glass just yet. Because I do believe Origin has, assuming, it goes, the next 3 points, Origin would still have another pick, if I'm remembering correctly. So I don't think we necessarily need to break glass, but he might just be willing to break glass anyways and pick Nomad 5.
We'll see. It's gonna be an interesting last couple of picks, though. We have Solace of Oblivion still left in the pool for Nomad, and then, of course, the Precision and Loear reading Nomad in Wolf Whistling Song X Get Low for Nomad 6. Aside from that, it's a couple of alt maps in Nomad 2 and Nomad 3. Instead, we're going with the alt finger control precision pick in Hard Rock, Rampage Rag by Camellia, mapped by PC. CS 6.5 and 8-point-something stars. I don't remember exactly what. Very, very tricky 167 BPM, mostly flow alt, but with a ton of finger control, a ton of aim control in between the flow patterns, as well as as well as the funky sliders. Let's call them funky sliders before we get to them. You'll see.
Funky indeed. Yeah, this got some interesting patterning to it. The quote-unquote Ballistic Bunny patterns, even though, this map was submitted well before Ballistic Bunny, I'm pretty sure, so... we got some, goofy control in this. Let's just see how these players do on this. I think so far... Because we've had all 4 of the Hard Rocks. This would be the last of the Hard Rocks. And I believe Origins actually won all 4 of them, right?
I believe so, yeah, because Hard Rock 4 was the one breakpoint that we have seen so far. So all of the Hard Rocks so far have been won by Origin. See if you can keep up the streak here and close out the entire mod category in Hard Rock. Or if we get a breakpoint for Wanderio on this pick instead.
Well, so far, looking solid for Origin, has the accuracy lead. Combo's basically even. Origin, I think, had just a little bit better starting combo, but that slider break's gonna give Wanderio, that combo advantage, but nothing's ever truly free, and here's the first of the funky sliders, and Origin does hit the entire thing. Wanderio missed the slider head, so down in combo, down in accuracy, it's about 7% actually. So Origin actually looking... decently comfortable on this.
It does find the slider break on those buzz sliders there. Understandable drop for Origin. Wanderio a little ahead in combo, but the AC lead is 7% plus right now for Origin. And that is a massive score lead in context. 74, 75k, now 80k. For Origin. When your opponent only has 70k, that is a huge score lead overall, and just a quarter of the map left to go means that Origin is well and truly out ahead, potentially past the point of no return for Wanderio. Even if Wanderio combos the rest of this map, I don't think it's going to matter. And the idea of somebody comboing the ending on this is a little far-fetched, because the ending on this is also pretty difficult, so probably not going to happen. It's not well out of the range of difficulty of the rest of the map, but definitely still extremely difficult on this. And this last slider comes through. It's going to be Origin ahead by over 100k, 232k to 123k for Origin, and match point 6-4 after that pick.
Yeah, pretty solid pick, actually. Just way more comfortable on it. Ends up with just under, about a 7.5% accuracy lead, so overall, just more comfortable. Wanderio did actually combo the end of that, but unfortunately, just doesn't matter when, your opponent has, basically double your score. And we are going to see Speed King, Dio.
We are going to see Speed King, some Eurobeat here. Mostly flow aim focused on this map, but you take that with a grain of salt, because this pick also has some absolutely ridiculous wiggle patterns that end up turning into basically 326 BPM jumps in this map, which are pretty difficult, but not any harder than the flow aim. Not any harder than some of the ultra-spaced flow aim in this map. I mean, this is 8.7 stars, and the primary spacing component is flow aim in this map. So a lot of the flow aim is just absolutely obscene in this pick. There's a little bit of finger control, a little bit of aim control as well, obviously with the swaps between snap aim and flow aim during this map. But definitely the main difficulty component in this is just the super high spacing flow aim. One thing to keep in mind with this pick, though, is that the beginning is much lower star rating, much lower spacing than basically the entire rest of the map. So if you don't combo the beginning on this and your opponent does, you're in a pretty bad spot. That said, it's easy enough that pretty much everybody left in the tournament should be able to combo the beginning.
We'll just have to hope and pray that they do, because yeah, the map just gets harder and harder. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce, Mr. Mapper's name, because, that's just gonna be, the biggest butchery of my life. Let's just say, most people have probably played Coco Soko at this point. You know how, that map plays. Yeah, this map pretty much plays the same, except, like, what, 13 BPM faster? And a little bit of a rough start here for Origin, actually. Does find, a few chain misses on some of the early cut doubles here. So gives Wanderio an early lead. Still holding on to the FC. Both players hitting that part, though, into his first KI, and Wanderio immediately finds what I believe to be an under-aim, so Origin back with the combo lead, and also the accuracy advantage now. But slider break into a full chain miss there, and both players are actually just chain missing all over the place, so no player really able to get a solid advantage so far. Quarter of the way through, it's still very much anybody's game, as Origin does find a massive chain miss, drops the accuracy down to 93, loses the accuracy advantage he had, and now with combos reset, accuracy is pretty much dead even. It's just who can rebuild in this section. And the answer is going to be Origin rebuilding, as Wanderio finds a break on one of those space flow patterns.
Let's see if Wanderio can keep this on his side. It's still winnable for now, as he continues to hold the score lead. There's a double break for both players. It's just ever so slightly in Wanderio's favor, but that back and forth wiggle pattern does give it back over to Origin. Swapped back immediately with another chain miss to come through for Origin, and it's just traded back and forth between the two players. Neither of them able to hold on to a significant combo or score lead here, as we continue to find chain miss after chain miss on these KI times. Both of them comboing through the lower spacing section here just fine. And just barely a score lead for Origin right now. About a 1% accuracy lead for him as well is helping contribute to the score lead. I think basically the entire score lead is just off of accuracy right now, but the slight combo lead Origin has also doing a little work at the moment, and both of them amassing a pretty significant combo during this relatively easy section right before the last PI time. Whoever misses first is going to not enjoy the ending here, and there goes Origin. Wanderio will miss right afterwards, though. So it's traded once again, and only 5k in favor of Origin at the moment. Accuracy evened out mostly for both of these players, as another chain miss section for both of them comes through, and the lead goes down to only 2k with a quarter of the map to go.
Oh, it's going to be super tense at the end here. I don't even know if like any of these players have been like more consistent over the other, because when you get to patterns as spaced as this, sometimes you are just kind of preying on RNG, but Origin finds a little bit of a note lock there. Wanderio trades it, and both players are just basically trading chain misses at this point. Accuracy now is like actually dead even, as Origin finds a break, though. Wanderio held onto the combo there, but finds a chain miss there. And Origin has a chance to bring it back, finds a drop. Wanderio chain misses again, though, and Origin has the score lead again.
Can he hold it into the ending? Can he hold on? He doesn't find the chain miss where Wanderio does there. That's another 5k given over to Origin. It's another slider break for him. But as long as he doesn't find a massive chain miss here at the ending, it should go over his way. Chain misses for both players. Once again, another bigger one for Origin. It's only a couple hundred points right now. Another miss comes through, and he chain misses the entire ending, and Wanderio is able to clutch it out right at the end once again. It's another repeat of what we saw in Hard Rock 4, but the shoe's on the other foot this time. Wanderio doesn't quite chain miss as much on the ending pattern, and Origin ends up missing basically into the entire thing, and so Wanderio ends up just barely out ahead on Nomad 2, takes the point, and earns, well, not his own last pick, but the last pick from Origin here. And still the potential to stay in the tournament for Wanderio, still the potential to force that tiebreaker.
Oh my days. It's never over until it's over, man. Especially with maps like this. you just miss everywhere and lose all your score. The brutality of Score v2. But Origin has final pick here. Dio, you and I have both been saying this. Maybe it's time to break the glass for No Mod 5.
Surely.
And
surely when your opponent double bans DT1, DT2, and then you pick Hard Rock 3 and win it. Surely you pick No Mod 5 here, right? I feel like that's the one pick that makes the most sense. I mean, we do still have the Solace of Oblivion, but a lot of the tech picks have gone Wanderio's way. It's not necessarily a tech map, but it's a very different one. And oh my word, we get No Mod 6. The Wolf Whistling Song X Get Low. Yeah, this is a map of all time. Thank you, Daramok, for mapping this. CS9 and AR7. No, not the other way around. CS9 and AR7. This is only 5.12 stars, but it is still an extremely difficult pick. We've seen this played once so far this weekend in the previous matchup between Nineric and Serbia Trucker. Now, the disparity in the scores there was quite high. It was Nineric at 417k and Serbia Trucker at 138k. I think you should expect more along the lines of Serbia Trucker's score for this match, because frankly, 417k on this map is absurd. Yes, it's only 5 stars, but at AR7 and CS9 with some actual reading patterns in this map as well, you can't just be good at precision. You have to be good at both, but playing CS9 in tournament is always another level of difficulty as compared to playing it in solo, and so it's gonna be a good time here between these two. Let's see if Wanderio is able to take us to our first and what would be the only tiebreaker of the weekend, or if Origin is going to close it out and move on to the top 3 and the losers grand finals.
Bless up Daramok for the metadata on this. And we do see an early drop here from Origin. Yeah, and then there goes Wanderio. Yeah, CS9 is a completely different beast in tournaments. Like, as a precision player myself, and who occasionally dabbles in CS, 9 playing. Yeah, you don't get nearly as nervous, playing, a hyper precision map in solo. And then you get slapped into a tourney lobby, and all of a sudden, it feels like, CS 6.5 just feels impossible because, tournament nerves exist. Especially when you're either on the brink of elimination or you're on the brink of, like, potentially having to play tiebreaker or just winning the match and moving on.
Let's see if there's any significant leads that get built up here. Another couple of breaks for both of the players. The accuracy, relatively similar for both of them as well. I mean, as an unbiased spectator here, I have to say I'm rooting for Wanderio on this just a little bit, just so that we can see tiebreaker once this weekend. But now that I've said that, of course, God will smite me and Origin will win this map. So maybe I should just shut up about that. A couple of breaks come through once again for both of the players, and scores just getting traded back and forth, but it is slightly in favor of Wanderio at the moment. That said, it can go either way still. It's only a 5k score lead, not even.
Yeah. Wanderio actually did take the accuracy advantage back. Origin did have the ac lead for a fair bit, so, score ever so slightly in favor of Wanderio. 2,000 doesn't look like a lot, but, the combined scores of both of these players is 144k, so 2,000 is a fair chunk of score when total scores are this low.
And now the AC lead is back on the side of Origin. The score lead is back on the side of Origin as well. It's another couple of combo resets for either of these players, as now the score lead's 11,000 for Origin, and he's continuing to hold the combo, continuing to hold this percent AC lead. And as long as he holds just a little bit better in either of those departments than Wanderio, he's going to stay in possession of this score lead. And in fact, the score lead's growing a little bit now, up to 20K, as Wanderio just not able to find significant combo, dropping the accuracy just a little bit down to the floor. And that is really good for Origin, who is continuing to build this score lead higher and higher into the ending of this map.
And as we get into the final eighth, Wanderio finds another break, and I think, Dio, that's going to be the nail in the coffin for Wanderio. Origin may drop shortly after, but a 40K score lead is insurmountable at this point, and we will have to say goodbye to Wanderio in this tournament.
And that is gonna be the match. 7-5 for Origin. I did say you should expect scores more similar to Serbia Truckers on this map, and indeed pretty similar overall. 132K for Wanderio, but 177K for Origin, a 35,000 or 45,000 score lead actually for Origin on this last pick, and the Nomad 6 working out very well for him here. Well enough to win the match and get into the top 3. So congratulations to Origin. That is, as you said, Suicune, unfortunately the last that we are going to see of Wanderio in this tournament, as that was the losers bracket. That is elimination for Wanderio, and Origin moving on to face Ryua in the losers grand finals next weekend.